Okay. Hello, my name is Ethan Sorofka, and my multimedia project will be on Dire Wimpy Kid. It was produced by Nina Jacobson and Brad Simpson, directed by Fred Freudenthal, released on March 19, 2010. Summary: Dire Wimpy Kid is a movie based off the popular book series Dire Wimpy Kid, created by Jeff Kinney. However, we'll be talking about the movie in this presentation, which takes place in the 21st century in North America. The movie Dire Wimpy Kid, which is a comedic and family-friendly movie for all ages. The movie starts out with the main character, Greg Heffley, who comes from a typical middle-class family in the suburbs. He is also the middle child in the family and is constantly harassed by his older brother Roderick, and is always scapegoated constantly by his younger brother Manny throughout the movie. Greg has to traverse through middle school with constant mishaps and challenges, ranging from being made fun of due to his physique and his humiliation, being picked on by various bullies throughout the movie. However, at the end of his first year, Greg has learned the real meaning behind real and fake friends that have affected him throughout his journey in middle school. Who is Greg Heffley? Greg Heffley is 11 years old. His best friend name is Rowley. He is the middle child of the family. He is very apprehensive and nervous on starting his first year of middle school. He wants to be popular amongst his peers. He is constantly bullied by his older brother and various groups at school. He is good-hearted, but tunnel vision at times when trying to get what he wants. Finally, he is confused on how to deal with his new life in middle school. Element of analysis. Peers. Since Greg is going through early adolescence, peer opinion has a strong influence on him, especially by him doing all he can possibly do to fit in with the popular group or be a town hero to gain respect and notoriety. Due to peer influence, Greg mistreats his friend Rowley due to him gaining popularity with other kids in middle school, which he retaliates by lying about how Rowley left the group of kids while walking the street, and Rowley is promptly kicked out of the safety patrol group he took pride in being a part of. Identity. Greg is at conflict with himself why he can't be a popular kid at school. Despite doing everything he can to become a part of the popular group at school, he soon goes into denial about being a middle school reject, which no one likes him, due to his actions against his best friend Rowley. Achievement. Greg Heffley has a heavy desire for achievement, but is challenged at every single opportunity. While trying to join the wrestling team, he was humiliated after losing to a girl. Furthermore, Greg tried to achieve an award for the safety patrol group of the school, but backfired after he left the group of kids and blamed his best friend for the mishap. Greg is seeking individual, but is just arrogant and lazy at times. Context. While in middle school, Greg is peer pressured at many points in the movie, even before his middle school year even started. He then is forcing this influence upon his best friend Rowley, which does not believe in the middle school cliches. However, Greg is persistent with his belief of peer influence and will make him popular, which ultimately causes him to go to his lowest point during middle school after losing his best friend of Rowley because of peer influence. So, looking at the quote, "Stop, you look like one of the seven dwarves, always wearing one strap is cool," said by Greg. This is Greg ridiculing Rowley for wearing two straps instead of one, because Greg thinks that it's cool to wear one strap instead of two, even though Rowley does not care and prefers to wear two straps. And Greg also says, "I need something to make me class favorite," which just shows how hungry Greg is for attention and popularity amongst his peers. Greg is only here because he wants to get in, said by Rowley. Greg joins the safety patrol group that Rowley's in just so he can become more famous and popular amongst the school and his town people. And how it relates to context. Greg's ambitions and wants are solely based off of peer influence. If his peers did not care of how he looked or how he presented himself, Greg would not have had these ambitions during the movie. Greg's main goal in middle school is to be the most popular kid due to him not wanting to be a social outcast towards his peers, which is very true considering the quotes where he wants to be the best and the most popular and not be a social reject. According to the textbook, adolescents experience enormous pressure from parents, peers, and the mass media, which directly relates to Greg's peer influence. Identity. Greg has trouble trying to get past his obsessive mindset of trying to be popular. After being left by his friend Rowley for his greedy ambitions, Greg takes a step back and thinks about, is this what he really wants to be? for the sake of popularity, or does he want his best friend back that had always had his back ever since they were kids? During the midpoint of the movie, Greg is left thinking of how he can be himself and change himself for the better, as his best friend and mom always told him to be. My mom said to just be myself and everyone would like me, said by Rowley. Rowley does constantly tell Greg this, however, Greg simply ignores him, which causes him to go into his low point during the movie. Even Greg says, "Whoa, how could you even say that I'm a great friend?" This is when Greg thinks that he's being a good friend after confessing to him that he was the one who left the kids during the safety patrol and not him. However, Rowley does not take that because Greg waited till Rowley got kicked out of the safety patrol group till Greg told Rowley the truth. Even Greg in the beginning in the movie tells Rowley, "Trust me, you can recover from social suicide," which just shows Greg's facade of trying to be a cool kid and not embracing his true self. How it relates to the text, Greg thinks he's such a good person, but in reality, he is nothing but a selfish and inconsiderate person. At first, Greg fails to believe that if he just acts like his true self, people will accept him for who he is. So Greg is always putting up a facade of trying to be a cool kid. Also, Greg has a case of false self-behavior, acting in a way one knows is inauthentic, which Rowley always sees through Greg. He always sees through. Achievement. Moving on to our final one, achievement. Greg Heffley is a very ambitious adolescent. However, he is very arrogant by thinking that he's better than everyone, even though he is the laughingstock of the school. He even gets jealous of Rowley's success when he is chosen instead of him to be the next cartoon writer for the school paper. Overall, Greg is very ambitious but is lazy and arrogant in terms of getting towards his goals. So, Greg says there's tons of things I qualify for, most likely to succeed, best looking, class clown. However, Greg's main reasoning throughout all this for his so-called qualifications is that he thinks he's the best, or he thinks he has it in him. But even though he says all that, he's not willing to work for those achievements. Rowley even comes back at him and tells him, "Don't you have to be funny for that?" which Greg does not take well and makes fun of Rowley for being fat. Even Greg again says, "I need something to make me class favorite," which just shows Greg's ambition to become the most popular kid in his middle school. So how does it relate to the context? Greg's ambitions are healthy for an adolescent, but the way he executes his plans for his goals are very poor and selfish. Greg has no consideration for others in terms of whether or not his plans may hurt someone, mentally or physically. In addition, Greg has tunnel vision, which makes him believe himself that he is the greatest person in the school, even though he's actually a person of poor quality of morals, just as seen as how he lied to Rowley after getting kicked out due to him being jealous that Rowley was getting more popular than him. So in a way, Greg uses self-handicapping strategies to make up for his shortcomings. That's how he uses his excuses. He always tells people that, "Oh, yeah, I had this." He always comes up with excuses. "Oh, I can't do this. My head hurts. I can't do this. I'm physically unable to." However, Greg is capable of doing this. He's just very lazy or very arrogant to admit his own mistakes. The main issue in Diary of a Wimpy Kid is Greg trying to assimilate to his new middle school while at the same time trying to be the most well-known or popular kid at school. This backfires heavily by him being embarrassed due to his selfish and rash ideas, which ultimately causes him to lose his best friend Rowley in the process. However, Greg is able to see past his selfishness and make amends with Rowley after sticking up for him when bullies try to mess with them at the end of the movie. So, is Greg a typical adolescent? I personally believe that Greg is a typical adolescent. Reason being that he's a good example of a relatable adolescent for the 21st century. Furthermore, he is very relatable when it comes to him trying to fit in by being someone who's not, by class. Greg is very relatable to me since it went through the same phase of trying to be cool during a teenager, even if it costed me some people that really did care about me. Unfortunately, I have gone through Greg's shoes phase when I was in middle school, which is why I chose this as my multimedia project. I just believe that Greg just has that relatable adolescent vibe, and I believe that if you ask any adolescent my age or or those currently in middle school right now, they would have the same experiences as Greg, if not similar. Greg is a very tunnel vision individual, just like today's generation of adolescents, where the most important aspects of their lives are based off their peer influence, social achievement, and the identity of being more than just an average kid. So this is my works cited where I got all my sources, and thank you very much for listening. This is my multimedia project on Die Everyone Be Kid. Thank you.